Judith's gonna join me as well, because we'd love to think about those readings. Now, obviously, many of you had a small heart attack when the blessings of God went off. Bless you. But we just wanted to just reveal to you that the early church, okay, they had blessings of God. And they were not just ordinary blessings. They were not ordinary blessings. They were blessings of seeing healing, of seeing people's lives turned around, of seeing the community acting in different ways. They were powerful and beautiful, which is what we're going to explore today at Harvest. How awesome is this? And look at this amazing, amazing set of, just gifts for others. That is incredible. Now, in our first reading, some people brought things, and the people of God were building a tent. And the thing is that we don't build a tent anymore as church, but we are called to still build the kingdom of God. So I've got some things that I think we need nowadays to build that kingdom of God. And they're written on the boxes, but due to my slightly rotund shape, I can't reach the boxes. So if anyone has got could someone come and help reach a box? That would be lovely. 1, 2, yes, thank you. Come and reach a box. Yes, yep, Belle, lovely. Emma, would you like to come and get a box? And these are 5 things that we might want to think about this morning that we need as God's people to build. Now, if you'll find there's a word on the box. Can you hold them up really, like facing everybody else? Yes, brilliant. So what have we got? We have got time. The people of God, we have to give time. That's maybe one of the most difficult things for some to give to God's kingdom building, because actually we all end up very, very busy. But this morning and this month as a church, we're looking at stewardship, and we're looking at what do we do, not just with our money, but with our lives. And so time, very important. Money, as it goes on. You can all sing that. Some of you could sing that. Must be funny. Money. We need God's money to build the kingdom of God. We're going to think about this a little bit more as we go through our talk. What's the next one? Prayer. God's people were always praying. In fact, the people, in the first reading, it talks about how people went back after hearing of this call to build, and their hearts were stirred. They didn't come and give all their goods because they thought they should do, and they really must do, and they grumpily and groaning gave of what they had. But their hearts were stirred. They were inspired by a bigger vision of what would happen with that money. And that's what we need sometimes. You know, if we're struggling, we're going to say, what is God? What is your bigger vision? And then we want to be part of it, and we want to give. So we need a bit of that. Next thing is blueprints. The church, and when I say the church, I mean all families of God, like from all different denominations. All of us are facing a new era, and we need blueprints of how to do Jesus following today, because it is not going to be the same as how it was. So blueprints, we need to ask God, how can I build God's kingdom in my life, in my environment, in this church? And generosity. It said they gave so much that they had to be told to stop. What? They had to be told, stop bringing it. We've got enough, loves. Isn't that wonderful? What a wonderful picture of joy and generosity and love and giving. That is amazing. Right. Well, you can stay there with those if you like, because we're going to learn from some of our friends in Uganda. Now, we've got somebody who does show a lot of these things. Here we go. Do you want to use this or the...
I don't mind. Oh. Have we got photos?
Yes. Photos?
Okay. Meet Jethro. Jethro's in the yellow T-shirt. He goes out onto the streets of Kasese, and he meets with the street boys who live there. He shares the gospel with them. He finds out their needs, and he talks to them and he listens to their stories. So he goes alongside the street boys where they are. Here he's giving, one of these street boys decided to start his own business. He saved a bit of money from selling scrap metal, started a business. So Jethro's given him a pan and some eggs to encourage him in his business. So giving him encouragement, say this is a good idea, keep going. Right, here you can see Jethro, the shorter one, with one of our former street boys, Martin, and they ran together to do a marathon. So he's showing how you can encourage people by coming alongside them. And here Jethro's gathered all the street boys into the church where they meet in fellowship and community. They learn about God, they get soap, and then they're taken out for a meal afterwards. So they don't have a community. So Jethro's bringing them together.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So let me ask you a question to think. How connected are we as Christians in this space and place? Do we know when someone might need us to sell a field or a games console? I mean, let's have a think. What do we have that we could sell if someone was really in need? The thing is, unless we know each other well enough, we won't be able to help. And so that's part of being vulnerable and actually getting to know each other a lot better. Because as we've often said before, we're not going to church, but we are called to be church with one another. Now, we've got some really good examples of being church together. So I've got quite a few pictures. Do you want to whiz through them, James? This is the first one, is at Wildfires, a Christian festival. Woo! Let's hear a woo, everybody. Yeah, that's it, 'cause it's a festival. Woo! This was a group of us that went away, and we lived together, and we slept, and we ate, and we danced, and we had ups and downs, and a few little arguments, sometimes, a little tiredness. But we were doing it together. There's some other photos now. James, do you want to just go through the whole load of them? Just keep going. We've got the All Sorts Holiday Club. A lot of you were involved in that, and you came along. There we go, look. Nick the Vic doing with our Katie baby therapy, Katie. And then all the Holiday at Home. Who remembers Holiday at Home, anybody? That was where 2 days of amazing bringing together of people who were not necessarily going to go abroad, and they came and experienced what it was to live and serve and love together. This, for me, is church. To be honest, if I'm brutally honest with you, sitting in a service for an hour is not church for me in any way, shape or form. I have to talk to people as well. And I have to have that experience of giving and loving and sharing and interacting, not just sitting very still. Now, in our quiz, you may not, in our reading about Acts, which had the beautiful blessings, you may not be able to remember this, but do you remember whether the sharing of lives happened once a month, once a week, or every day? It was like every day. It's ridiculous. Some of you would be like, I'm leaving now. There's no way I want to see them every day. But it's just really, we're really going to be challenged this year. I feel like we need to be challenged about what it means to actually live Jesus' lives, because actually we do need to have connections. It doesn't mean coming up to one place. It could be anywhere and everywhere. So I don't know if you've got something that if you needed to for someone else that you could sell, what would it be? Share with your partner right now. Okay. So is this good? This is good. This is getting us ready to respond if the need arises. This is very good. You know, the reason why the early church felt free to give generously was because I believe they knew that all of the possessions they owned, all of the money they had, they'd come to a place where they felt, this is all God's. This is all God's. It doesn't actually belong to me. It's a gifted and I'm looking after it, but it actually belongs to God. That actually gives you a real freedom that you can, and a freedom to not be so stressed about it in many ways, to not worry so much in many ways, because you know that it's a partnership thing, that you look after it with God. I will just say this because I spoke to my Matthew in Hong Kong, and Jackie Pullinger was teaching on this tithing, which is the lady who teaches her. And someone said to her, 10%, you know, is that the, which I know we've got in our things, but she said, he said, isn't that the, you know, what you should do? And Jackie said, you know, 10%. She said, no, that is the Old Testament. You don't need to listen to that anymore. Now you're free to give it all. And Matthew said, I wonder where she was going. But, you know, you said, you can say that, Mum. You are free to give it all. I mean, whoa. Anyway, we need to have our minds blown a little bit about all this. Now, I know that there is a lot of that, isn't there, in Uganda. So this is another set of people that we're going to learn from this morning.
Waiting for the photos to come up. Oh, this is William with his wife Felestus. Now, without William, none of the things in Uganda would be completely successful. He tirelessly drives around the South Ruwenzori diocese, which is huge, and takes in the mountains and the main town and everything, checking on everybody, making sure everybody is doing what they should be doing, but encouraging, loving, teaching. It's just amazing what he achieves. This is him actually sharing the gospel with one of the women's groups. So when they meet together, they meet in fellowship, and they do, as not church on a Sunday, they do that as well, but this is what they do during the week as well, I guess a bit like our home groups. They're intergenerational. So all of the women's groups raise from probably late teens right the way through to grandmothers. They take their babies, they take their children with them. So they're fully intergenerational groups to share together. And here Doreen, one of our community facilitators, is just checking up on them. And the reason that there are not very many here in this women group is because the rest of them were up in the hills supporting somebody who'd lost, so supporting a funeral. So they were there giving food, running the wake, doing all that sort of thing. So, and here's another women's group where they're just meeting to worship together, share stories, support each other, and the most important thing they do is pray for each other all the time, not just in church on Sundays. I've just about covered it, I think. I think that was it.
Is there more photos?
No, that's it.
Okay, here's a question. Have you ever prayed or worshipped with your friends at school? Or with your work colleagues? Or when you went round for coffee to someone's house? Have you prayed or worshipped in a home? Because these are real things that, again, we're thinking about our blueprints, which, were always there. And then sometimes we lost them. We've lost that ability. We've lost that desire. And actually, it may be something that is coming back. And we will be thinking about how can we do life every day, looking after the gifts and the possessions that we have, but not feeling like they're just ours to look after and make sure they go well, but thinking, are they God's? And God, what do you want me to do with yours? So we're going to sing a song. Can we give a clap to our wonderful helpers? You can put them up here if you like. Do you want to put them on the side here? And this song, some of you all know, it's called The Rock. Do some of you know? Some of you know Actions, some of you don't. But in this song, it's all about building your house on Jesus. And you might think, what's that got to do with giving? But the reality is, when we build our house, our security, our identity on Jesus and being his child, that gives us the freedom to then give. Because we don't need to have that type of house or that type of car or that type of wage to identify, to make us feel successful, because we just know that we are secure in God's plans for us and he loves us. So I invite you to stand together, but also if you want to sit, you can sit, and we're just going to sing through this song, The Rock, as a special prayer where we can ask God to help us build our kingdom on him. Okay, here we go.